right, welcome back to Central Kentucky in 1862 as continuing our fictional Battle of the Bluegrass campaign. It's kind of centered around the Confederates' invasion of Central Kentucky, which culminates with the Battle of Perryville and a couple other battles in like Richmond, and there's a few other good ones in Kentucky, but this is a fictional timeline. The big one for me is I am using a rule set that I should have used a long time ago. I've been the owner of David Brown's Pickett's Charge for since my original General Day Armée games, the first edition. I bought it. I just didn't have any Confederate or I didn't have any Civil War troops at the time. So I bought it, I was reading it, I thought it was going to inspire me to start painting troops for the Civil War, and I never got around to it until now. So now we're going back, and we're going to try this rule set by David Brown. I think there's chatter that they're making a second edition, but I at least have to give the first edition a shot because I am such a fan of GDA and GDA 2. So this battle is going to take place after the Confederates won at Danville and are now marching north towards Frankfort. I'll show you kind of an outline of the campaign in a moment, but this is on the way to Harrodsburg, and as the Confederates are marching north out of Danville, a Union army is marching out of Fort Harrod in Harrodsburg and is moving south to meet them. And I live in Danville, so I'm familiar with the terrain, so I tried to think of what it looks like between there and here, and this is the best I could come up with. And it's it's a decent battlefield in my opinion. This area is pretty rich in history. Thankfully they've done a lot to preserve it. A lot of farms, a lot of horse farms, a lot of older homes. My house was built in 1908, but there's a lot of homes around here that are from the 1800s, 1700s, which is pretty good for United States. We're no Europe and England where you guys got stuff from like the 3rd century and stuff. So we can't quite do that. But if you haven't visited the area, it's very pretty. It's horse country, it's bourbon country, it's all the good thing country, and it's just great people. And now they're going to have them kill each other. Features of the battlefield: got a large hill over here. This is the road coming out of Danville, heading north towards Harrodsburg. It does peel. There's a lot of roads that peel off that go to like very large farms and stuff, running east-west. So, and most of the big homes around here, they're old, they're built up on hills. So, mission accomplished. Scattered trees throughout, a lot of hills. It's really as I said, it's a really pretty area, nice rolling terrain. You just drive around down here and kind of look out your windows of your car, and you're like, dang, that's a good place to it inspires me a lot to make a good battlefield. So we've got good hills, good woods, good trees, got some farmland, got some roads. There is a river, but I just I didn't put it in this time. There's a small river that runs parallel to this road going to Harrodsburg, and which is 127. If you're not familiar with the 127 yard sale, it's the longest yard sale in the country. So it happens once a year in July. They go crazy, and people drive from Michigan to, I think, down to Florida and just sell their trash, and people buy it. So yeah, thankfully, I don't even know what the name of this road was back then. It was not. 127 technically wasn't built until I think 1903 or so. Back in the 1860s, it was probably just, I don't know what it was called, but I've tried to look it up and I failed miserably, so I apologize. Anybody who knows, let me know. That'd be great. I'm going to keep doing research on it. As I mentioned, this is a fictional campaign, so I've got friends of the channel as commanders and generals and all that good stuff. We basically have 3 brigades on each side, 2 cavalry sections. For one for each side. Each side also has 2 artillery batteries, and then each infantry brigade has 4 regiments within it. So everyone's going to be regular. I'm going to basically just keep it simple. If this works well and I enjoy this system as much as I think I'm going to do, I will continue the campaign, and then as units do good in a couple battles, we'll promote them, and if units get completely wiped out several times, we'll demote them down. So we'll try to make it a living campaign with a little bit of fun in it, and we'll see how it goes. So the U.S. Civil War is a great time to game in, and I'm just really kind of sad I didn't get into it quicker, but here we are. So the Rebel is commanded under Mike Deslorey. He's a Canadian man, but I put him in command down here. I didn't want to have too many military geniuses on this side, so I kept Doug Carmichael over there, who was I believe a tank commander in the Army. He actually might have been a West Point graduate, so we have to have a little bit of favoritism, because I do have myself and my buddy James are over here. Both, James wasn't in the military. I was, but I was a medic, so I don't know that much. And then I brought a friend of the channel, Tony Webster's over here too, and I don't know if Tony was in the military or not. So we could have a little bit of Doug's got his hands full with some crappy commanders. But we'll go from there. But over here, Mike Deslorey doing well. He's got some good ones here. Over here, Scott Driscoll, friend of the channel, just an all-around awesome guy. Australian Army career guy. He's commanding troops for Virginia. Scott's pretty polished, so he said he likes the South when he's visited it. So gave him the guys from Virginia. He's got 4 regiments from Virginia. Don't pay attention to the Louisiana flag. These guys are just going to stand in. Basically, we've got the 11th, the 3rd, the 37th, and the 9th Virginia Infantry, plus the 3rd Virginia Artillery Battery. In the center is another friend of the channel, Martin Brennan. He's a Citadel graduate, so we've got an all-star team already over here. General Brennan has got, and just because he's from the Citadel, which is a military school in South Carolina in Charleston, I think cadets from the Citadel were along one of their artillery batteries fired the first shots of the Civil War against Fort Sumter, and they had and Martin can correct me really quickly, they had a company in this attached to the Confederates, like something of cadets or something. It was just basically, it was all cadets that made up an entire regiment. So World War II. So I bet they were well trained. Just sticking with that whole theme, we've got the 8th, the 9th, the 6th, and the 7th South Carolina. I think I actually have a typo here. I might have the 8th twice. I'm gonna have to call that the 18th or something like that. I'm not going back and repainting this. There's nothing stopping this game. Even if I did a typo, we're gonna go ahead and play it. And then Aled Roberts over here, General Roberts, English gentleman. Not sure if he was in the service, but we gave him. I love Tennessee. It's probably my second favorite state in the U.S. And there was a lot of Tennessee troops in the Kentucky campaign. They were coming up to kind of very similar type individuals. So we've got 4 regiments from Tennessee, plus they have some 12-pound Napoleons, the only smoothbore artillery in the game. Here's our C&C for the Union. General Carmichael got his hands full. He's looking around at his staff officers going, I got a bunch of morons. But I brought the case on with him, so if we do any ammunition, we'll move that around. And I got a guy with a flag with him too, just the same as the Confederates. On the Union left is this moron who's going to stand in for me, General Haynes. I was actually born in Chicago, so these guys are all Illinois troops, just kind of stuck with it. 4 infantry regiments from Illinois Artillery Battery, rifled artillery. I think these are the ordnance rifles. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that later. I've got one battery that's got 3-inch ordnance rifles. The other one's got the oh crap, what's it called? I think it's Parrot or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Having a moment this morning, a Parrot rifle. To my right is Tony. He's holding the center. General Webster. Tony's born in Northern England, but I think he lives in London now. But I gave him a New York type of man. So now that, because the closest thing we got to London is New York. So got the 8th, 10th, 6th and 4th New York, plus a U.S. artillery battery. B Company. He's got those Parrott rifles. Of course, there's our fearless leader, General Carmichael. All the generals are West Pointers, just kept it simple, as I said at the beginning of this video. And then on the right for the Union, James is from the Louisville area. So General Kirk, not Captain Kirk, sorry about that, get a promotion. He's got the Kentucky Brigade. That if things go the Confederate way, these guys will be switching out their uniforms for some rebel uniforms at some point here. We got the 7th, 9th, 6th, and 13th Kentucky. Plus, you can't have a Battle of the Bluegrass without some Kentucky cavalry. They're up on the hill. All right, we'll go over what is happening in the campaign so far, and then basically I'm gonna. This might even be like a teaching learning game. I'm going to do a lot of explaining because it's going to be my first game too. That way I can even go back and watch it. But I'm hoping this is enjoyable. And just sit back and relax. And I hope you guys have a good time watching this. You're all awesome. So far in our campaign, the Confederates, of course, came in from the Tennessee region. Came in through Liberty, which is down in Casey County. Moved north. Heading towards Danville, had our first engagement of this campaign at Houstonville. The rebels were victorious, moved north, had another battle south of Danville at Junction City. I believe the Confederates were pushed off there by the Federals. They were pushed off to the east, a little bit to the south towards Stanford, which is out in Lincoln County, southeast of Danville. Had a couple battles over there, which the rebels started getting back some momentum again. Getting a little bit cocky and seeing more Union troops getting filtered into the battlefield around Danville. General Deslauriers decided to move northeast of Danville and try to cut off some supplies coming in. And we had a battle at Harrington River. I believe the rebels were victorious there. Then we did twin battles of Danville, which saw the rebels capturing Danville, which is the county seat of Boyle County, and that was big, and that was our last battles. Decided to move north now that they've consolidated this position. They've resupplied, trying to get to Harrodsburg, and it's, at the same time the Union is also moving south out of Harrodsburg, and they have this is where this battle is going to be, on the road between Danville and Harrodsburg. The key part of moving north is Frankfort is up here. You go through Harrodsburg, you go through Salvisa, and then Lawrenceburg is up here, and that's kind of parallel east-west to Lexington, which is the cultural center of Kentucky, at least in the 1860s. I still think it is now, but I've got some buddies in the channel that are from Louisville, so there's always a big spirited competition between the University of Louisville and the University of Kentucky. I'm a University of Kentucky graduate, so Lexington was the only major city of the Union that the Confederates ever captured, so that was a big deal for them. So basically, once you take Frankfort, then you can rewrite all the laws. The Kentucky legislature wrote a law, basically, if you joined the rebels, you lost all your property, and that kept a lot of troops from joining the Confederacy. There was a lot of Confederate sympathizers in this area. So if you capture Frankfort, then you basically move north, and then you basically get on the Ohio River, and that's a great defensible position that splits Ohio and Kentucky, and that would have been a great place. And then it would have control of the legislature. They could have rewritten the laws, and then you've got University of Kentucky with all of it, and then you've got Lexington, and you've also got all the horses in the area. So you get troops, you get cavalry, you get the South, and you get the Kentucky to join the South, and that was the main gist of this entire invasion of the bluegrass. So that's the background. That's what's happened to the campaign so far, and let's get cracking. I think in the last game I also played, I forgot to add my fences into the last moment. Once again, did it again. So I've got some stone fences around that farm shed down there on Harrodsburg Road, and this road cutting in front of this giant plantation house, almost snake rail fence going along the road, just kind of dividing the battlefield. All right, we're gonna start off the game with, or start off the turn with staff officer availability. Having a little bit of tongue twister here. So each side has 3 brigades, so we'll just roll 3 dice and see what happens. Remember, double sixes gets you an extra staff officer. Wow, triple sixes for the rebels. Mike De La Rey, general of the rebels here, gets 4 staff officers. I think you get more with that. Carmichael, he rolled pretty dang good too. That was awesome rolling. He gets 3. So now I think we go on to hang on. We go on to posting of these guys, and then we see whose brigade is active or hesitant, and then that triggers initiative. Okay, I'm getting it. We're gonna figure it out. All right, the Confederates are gonna try to push hard in the center. General Brennan gonna get an order for a double quick move with his infantry and his cavalry as well. See if they'll do it. Then we'll get a reroll over here with General Driscoll, and General Roberts on the right is going to be all by himself with nothing. So that's too bad. So sad. Basically, the Union is just going to do a reroll across the board with all 3 brigades, and just hope for hopefully get everyone to pass and then go on. All right, I've marked all 3 brigades of the rebels with 3 dice, and let's see who is active and who is hesitant. So 1s and 2s are bad. So we get a hesitant roll on General Driscoll on the left flank, but he does have a ADC posting or a staff officer posting, so he gets a reroll. Driscoll having some struggles with his Australian nationality, understanding French accent of Mike de Sloret. Oh boy. All right, the rebel left goes hesitant. Oh, not good. All right, same thing for the Union. All 3 regiments are marked with a die. Let's see who's active or not. Well, General Webster's got his act together. General Kirk and General Haynes tanking it big time. Let's see if their ADCs will help. General Carmichael's ADC or staff officer rerolls pays off. The entire Union is active. The brigade from Virginia is the only hesitant one on the board. That will affect the initiative, which will roll now. The Confederates will get a -1 to this roll. All right, 2d6 for initiative, -1 for the rebels. Doesn't matter. The rebels get the initiative, and they will be the lead player. It starts off with charges, I believe, and there won't be any charges. Let me just double check that, and then I think we'll get into, I think it's movement next, but I'm totally probably wrong. I'll put a initiative marker near Mike de Sloret, so we know he is basically initiative this turn, because I'll get confused probably. Yeah, it's movement time. Oh boy. Virginia Brigade on the left cannot go closer to the enemy, so they're going to be standing still. We'll start in the center. General Brennan's got a forwards tasking. He's going to move his boys forward, and let's see what happens. All right, the boys from South Carolina are going to move ahead onto this hill. They're going to take a formation check as they climb up it, and they'll go 9 inches plus, I think, 3d6 for the double quick. All right, all 4 infantry regiments kind of pivot a little bit to the left and move up onto that rise. Cavalry moves forward a little bit farther towards those trees, just kind of covers himself there. But all 5 of these groups went into terrain which will require a formation check to see if they remain formed. I've marked each regiment with a die, and then we got to roll over a 7 on 2 die to see if they keep it together. Guess marching on the side of that hill was just a bit too much for the 8th South Carolina as they become unformed. The rest of the regiments do just fine with it, so that's pretty awesome. That's a crazy tool. You can check that whenever you cross over a fence or a stone wall or going up terrain or through light woods. I don't have any heavy woods or marshes, thankfully, and no cliffs. I think you have to check a formation check and you only get half speed if you go any kind of stuff like that. On the Confederate right, the General Roberts' brigade from Tennessee moves forward, no issues. They didn't have to take any checks because they were already on the hill. So they're basically coming out of the terrain. And I think that'll end the rebel movement. We go over to Union movement. The slacker General Haynes is going to move his guys forward. The two trailing regiments will both have to take a check as they come down this hill to see if they're able to maintain formation. The two trailing regiments, the 14th and the 6th Illinois, will both take checks as they move up behind the snake rail fence to oppose the rebels coming forward. Johnny Reb going to get some mini balls here. The Zouave unit, the 6th Illinois, struggles with some close order drill coming down that hill. A couple guys fall down and take out some of their buddies. They are unformed. Not good. Let's work on walking down hills, gentlemen. In the center, General Webster is going to advance both of his infantry brigades 7 inches. A large percentage of the 4th New York crosses over that snake rail fence, so they're going to take a formation check. Oh, they absolutely love it. Just hurdle that sucker and keep on advancing. And then on the far right, General Kirk advancing 7 inches with his 4 regiments and his cavalry. These gentlemen from the 13th Kentucky enter some light woods, so they're going to have to take a formation check, and then the Kentucky cavalry starting to move on a flank and run. They're going to threaten the rebel left. So that's a good one. All right, let's check this check real quick for these gentlemen. That's a backwoods regiment. They love it. They're no problems. They're maintaining formation as they enter the woods over there, or the light, whatever the hell it is. They're in there. All right, next up is firing. None of the muskets are going to be in range. The artillery is probably going to be in range. Unfortunately for the boys from Virginia, they're hesitant. They can only fire at effective range, which is 33 inches, but it doesn't quite get there. So these guns are going to remain silent. These 12-pound Napoleons should be able to shoot, though, which is going to be awesome. These 12-pound Napoleons are going to be firing at effective range. 26 inches, 27 is the end of their effective. So this will be overhead fire. The Zouaves from Illinois will be in cover, I think, from the snake rail fence, but I'm not sure if that'll slow down cannonballs or not. Also believe we'll get bounced through into the unit behind them. All right, there is no negative for, as long as you can overhead fire, you're good. They're good. They can shoot. They're going to be a -1 to this roll. There'll be 2 dice, and then 1 casualty die for the bounce through for the unit behind. Well, those guns do a great job. I was looking for a rule to see if you can get a fatigue casualty on your first shot. You can, so they accomplish the mission. They give themselves 1 point of damage. I guess they were tired from pushing the guns up the hill. These two, heck, I can't even think, Tennessee infantry regiments, the 4th and the 29th, are both in range to fire at these boys here. I think there's going to be some cover involved, and also the Confederate troops moved. Both the 4th Tennessee and the 29th Tennessee are going to fire straight ahead at this unit from Illinois. If you're not unformed, you have a 45-degree arc of firing, so you're good to go. If you're unformed, you can only fire straight ahead. And maximum range for rifled musket is 18 inches, which both of these are. They are at long range, so that's going to be a -2, and the Illinois boys get a -1 for cover, so a -3. I'm going to roll them both at once, marked with a red die, marked with a blue die. The 29th Tennessee punts and goes down to a 1, which turns into a fire discipline. I forgot to create fire discipline tokens, but thankfully I have my GDA 2 markers from Battlefield Accessories. Those are awesome. You should check them out. I got them from them. They're in Australia, but I got here super quick. The markers are fantastic too. All right, so we got a fire discipline here, and these guys might have actually done some casualties. 3rd Illinois suffers 1 casualty from these gentlemen as they blast away at them. All right, that ends the Confederate shooting. Not so good. Let's go over to the Union. Let's get these boys from Illinois. See if they can fire back. Got some trees in the way, but let's have a little bit of fun here. 15th Illinois is going to blast with these trees at these gentlemen. I'm going to count this as pretty significant cover. They didn't have the option to not fire through that. So that'll be a -2, and I gotta check the range. Plus they moved. 15th Illinois is gonna blast with these trees at these gentlemen. I'm gonna count this as pretty significant cover. They didn't have the option to not fire through that. So that'll be a -2, and I gotta check the range. Plus they moved. 15th Illinois firing at the 28th Tennessee. They're gonna get a -4 to this, because they moved and they're firing through pretty significant woods. They're kind of firing at moving targets here. And then the 3rd Illinois, who moved, firing at long range against the 4th Tennessee, who are going to be in the open. So just a -2 at long range. These gentlemen totally miss. No effect at all. These guys have a chance for a a casualty, but they get it's a half. So you have to roll another 6-sided die. A 1, 2, 3 is no casualty. 4, 5, 6 will do 1. 29th Tennessee now has 1 casualty and has suffered a fire discipline on itself. All right, now we've got the rifled artillery from the Union blasting away at that same Confederate unit from Tennessee over here. Plus we'll get bounce through into here. And that'll be attacking the 4th Tennessee with bounce through in the 21st if they make contact. Shot is going to be 4 inches inside a long range or just outside of effective range. So, but no other modifiers. Long range shot with 1 casualty die. They just missed doing a casualty to themselves. No effect. And the bounce through does nothing. That goes flying somewhere else. I'm looking down here. The Union guns in the center under the new U.S. artillery under Webster's command. They can see these gentlemen. They're going to definitely get cover. Just got to check the range. I'm sure it'll be long range. That's crazy. Just barely popping over the hill there. Long range. Going to get a -2 to this because heck, the cover these guys are getting is from the earth itself. So it's basically being dug in just because of the angle of the attack. So let's go. There will be a chance for bounce through though, just so you know. The 6th South Carolina will take a casualty with bounce through. 7th South Carolina, half a casualty chance. 6th Carolina suffers a casualty, and that's the end of shooting and also the end of turn 1. All right, we're playing Pickett's Charge. Sounds good, baby. I'm loving it. Getting some good blasting over here. All right, we're going to turn 2, and we'll do staff officer availability. All right, time for turn 2, staff officer availability. Let's see how both sides do. All right, both of our CNCs get 2 staff officers availability. Let's go ahead, or available, excuse me. Let's go ahead and post that. Not sure what to do quite yet. Give me a moment, and then we'll do see if brigades are active or hesitant. All right, For Johnny Reb, General Deslauriers is going to give a re-roll to General Driscoll on his left, and on the far right he's going to do a re-roll on General Roberts. He has total faith in General Brennan, hoping that he will pass on his own accord. General Carmichael is going to give a re-roll to General Webster in the center, and to that moron General Haynes on the far left. General Kirk, thankfully he's going to get a free pass. Hopefully he can get there on his own, but less pressure now that Driscoll has failed his last move to get his brigade on the way. So the road is secure to Harrodsburg for the moment. All right, I'm going to roll all the Confederate dice at once. I'm going to take a page out of General Desarmés 2. I'm going to roll 2 dice for the guys that have the staff officer already assigned. So that way we'll know right away if they pass or not. So that worked out well. All 3 Confederate brigades are active, and we'll go do the same thing over here for the Union. Whenever you play a new system, it's always kind of a work in progress to figure out how to do the battle report, but thankfully very similar to GDA, so it's not a completely unknown factor for me. So here we go. We'll do the rolls now for the Union brigades. All right, the Union is also, all their brigades are active, so there'll be no modifiers to initiative. Now we'll roll 2d6 for both sides to see who wins that. General Carmichael digs deep into his vast military training, seizing the initiative from the rebels, and the Union will be the phasing player for this turn. All right, first up is charges. The Union doesn't have any charges to declare. I don't think the Confederates will be able to reach. It's 9 inches. Let me just double check. No, I know it's not 9 inches. I won't go there. All right, so so no charges. Go on to movement. We'll go on with the Union. We'll start over. Boom, 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 boom. We'll start on the left with General Kirk. He's going to continue his advance. They will have to take some checks over here to see how they survive obstacles. All right, we got some checks I have to do. We got the 7th Kentucky entering between this farm building. Have to check a formation check. 9th Kentucky passing through that one tree is not a big deal. That's there more for decoration. These guys, though, the 6th Kentucky crossed a bunch of trees, so they're going to take a formation check. And the 13th Kentucky passing over that stone wall into that field will have to check themselves. Not to brag too much, but those boys from Kentucky do an awesome job with some close order drill. They stay together, no formation disruptions, no unformed units. Great job, gents. General Webster, being the boss that he is, gets his 2 New York regiments over here to move up towards the snake rail fence. No check for these gentlemen. On this side, we've got the 6th and the 4th New York, both climbing hills and going over snake rail fences, kind of wheeling towards the Johnny Reb. So they're both going to have to take checks, these 2 regiments. Those boys from New York do even better than the boys from Kentucky. They rock it out. General Webster in full command of his troops as they close in at their date with destiny with this is General Brennan's guys from South Carolina. And General Haynes, being the tactical genius that he is going to decide to hold still, which will allow the 6th Illinois to reform on the spot. Going to transition over to the Confederates and see what they've got up their sleeve. General Driscoll splits his command a little bit here. The 37th and 9th Virginia moving down the road towards the Union. Going to deny the flank here move with the 11th and 3rd Virginia. just because they're conscious of the Union cavalry on their flank. Artillery is going to hold still, probably blast down the road, try to take somebody's head off. General Brennan does a passage of lines as the 3rd South Carolina moves through the 8th South Carolina, who are unformed. They will remain there to regain their order, so they are trailed behind a little bit. Cavalry is going to hold their position. No point running out in front of a bunch of guns and getting smoked. At least not yet. The 6th and 7th South Carolina start faring off to the right to engage the Union troops moving up to meet them behind that snake rail fence. And that's General Brennan's moves. No formation checks for him, doing just fine. On the far right flank for General Roberts, the 4th and 21st Tennessee on the left here, they're kind of wheeled to the right a little bit, start laying down fire into the Union. Lost fire discipline on the 29th Tennessee, so the 3rd Tennessee did a passage of lines and advanced into the woods. They'll have to take a formation check and engage the Union at point blank range, as these guys will hold for a turn and regain their fire discipline. 3rd Tennessee maintains their order as they pass through those woods, closing in on the Union position. They know they're up against General Haynes. That's a joke. He's got a bad rep. All right. Got some great stuff going on here on the battlefield. Oh, yeah. Even Driscoll's getting involved. It's awesome. Got dudes pointing every direction. We got all kinds of good stuff going on. Gotta love miniature wargaming, baby. All right, we'll start off down here with the boys from 15th Illinois. Shooting into the trees at these boys from Tennessee coming at them. Holy cow. They're going to let fly, baby. They're going to pay a little bit of a penalty just for cover, but that's about it. 15th Illinois unloading at effective range. -1 for cover, and that's it. Boys from the 3rd Tennessee take 2 casualties. They're going to take a see the elephant test as they get hammered from that volley. They become unformed. They're just not feeling too good after that blast. General Roberts screaming at them to get their act together. Next volley is going to go into these boys as they're coming in from the side. 3rd Illinois, following command so they can fire at a 45-degree angle. Going to unload. Where are these guys from? I forgot. I know they're from Tennessee. The 4th Tennessee. Another effective shot, but no minuses this time. They're in the open. 4th Tennessee is buckled, taking 3 casualties. They got to take a see the elephant check as they get hammered by those Zouaves from Illinois. They also become unformed, not liking that much firepower to them. General Roberts he's foaming at the mouth, about to have a panic attack. He's so upset. All right, that's this shooting on this. Oh, no, we don't. We have artillery. Oh, sorry about that. Infantry is too close to be fired on. They're going to counter battery. Both these guns are going to fire on each other. Long range shot, -2 for firing at deployed artillery. Oh, they crush them. They hit him with the 6.6. They're going to get a destiny roll and all kinds of good stuff. Tennessee artillery battery gets creamed. They're up to 3 casualties. Now they take their elephant test, and they've got a destiny roll. They pass the elephant. Oh, they love it. It looks like the serendipity rolls are only for close order infantry, not for anybody else. So don't worry about the 6.6. 8th New York, attached to Webster's brigade, going to fire through the trees up at these boys from South Carolina coming down the hill at them. Yeah, they're in range, baby. It's long range. There's going to be some cover involved. Target of this volley is going to be the 7th South Carolina. Will be a -3 to this due to the New Yorkers moving up behind the snake rail fence and firing through cover. Union, good shooting, still working it. It continues as they put a casualty onto the 7th South Carolina. Over here, the 3rd South Carolina, I did fix that screw up I had. Which one was that? I think the 9th, I think. I reprinted the unit card today. I was like, nah, I'm not dealing with that penciled on stuff. They're going to take a blast from, who the heck are these guys? 4th New York. Unloading. Same, no penalty for cover, but a -2 for moving. 4th New York just gets too excited. They lose fire discipline. They just unload into nowhere and have no effect on the boys from South Carolina. We'll pivot over to the 4th U.S. Artillery, Company B. They're going to shoot straight ahead at those boys on the hill. They're exposed. They're in the open. I just got to check the range. This blast will be at effective range against those boys from South Carolina. There will be bounce through into this other battalion or regiment behind them. Terrible shooting. There's a chance for a casualty, though. We got a half. So we're going to roll the lone 6-sider. 0 effect. As we slide to the farther to the left, the boys from Kirk's brigade are too far away from Driscoll's boys, but their artillery is going to reach out and touch somebody here in a minute. So, all right, that ends, and the cavalry just kind of, they moved around a little bit, kind of just staying there to see, try to keep some people on their toes, basically is all they're doing. All right, that's the end of Union shooting as we can move on into Confederate shooting. Here's a quick question for you expert players of Pickett's Charge. It says move or unformed, -2. I'm going to look in the rules real quick, but I'm wondering if you get a -2 for both, so a cumulative -4? Oh no. I'm going to have to go with a cumulative thing. So it's -2 for both. So we're at -4 plus cover, -5. Do you want to pull the trigger? Because it's be very simple to get a fire discipline. Let me look at the odds here. Stand by. So if they roll anything less than a 9, it's fire discipline. So they're going to hold their fire because that's no bueno. So great job by the Union for winning the initiative, getting those rounds downrange, and smacking them. So good job. I think also those gentlemen are also going to hold their fire. I think they're unformed as well. So it's not worth the fire discipline. Now the 7th South Carolina, they did move. That's a -2. Firing through cover. That's kind of like a double whammy cover. Well, we'll just give them a -1. And long range, so -3 here. Opening fire on those boys from New York. They will get a serendipity check, but they 1.5 casualties. No see the elephant. Let's see if the half casualty becomes a whole. 8th New York suffers 1 casualty. And now let's see what this, my first serendipity check, will do. So they pick up the rebel yell marker and they go absolutely insane. I had some bonuses to these gentlemen until they become whipped. 7th South Carolina, totally amped. They might be charging down that hill pretty soon. Sliding over the 3rd South Carolina, going to fire a long range. -2 to these gentlemen. Their general loses control of that, or that colonel loses control of his regiment as they just start shooting all over the place like it's the 4th of July. No fire discipline. And Driscoll's artillery battery going to fire at those gentlemen coming through the trees there. They're still going to be in cover. That's significant cover too, so that'll be a -2 long range shot. They blast away and cause no effect to the front unit. They do get a bounce through. Something ricochets off some of those houses and it hits the trailing Kentucky regiment in the behind there, and then it flies out in the field. So that's what we do get 1 casualty to them. The turn comes to an end. Turn 2. What we got going on? So a quick flyby. We got Driscoll's 3rd and 11th Virginia, kind of denying the flank, keeping their eye on that cavalry up there. Main push is coming from the 9th and the 37th with support from the from Company A of the 3rd Virginia Artillery Battery. That's the main assault down Harrodsburg Road. Coming there to support their right are the boys from South Carolina. You get the 3rd and 8th South Carolina under General Brennan, who's right here. Moving against these gentlemen will hopefully be able to drive them off and lend support to that attack. Kind of trying to keep these guys from getting involved is the 7th and 6th South Carolina. These guys get a rebel yell. They're totally pumped. Over here, issues for General Roberts as his guys are becoming unformed. They do choose to hold fire this turn. Pickett, they're both unformed. They do not shoot. They didn't want to take fire discipline on top of that. The boys from Illinois from the 3rd and 15th are able to unload significant volleys into both of those regiments, causing casualties. Very proud of General Haynes holding the left for the Union. Pushing up the center here from New York, General Webster's got the 10th, 8th New York. Not too damaged. It's had some problems here with fire discipline from 4th New York and the 6th New York. And then Major General Kirk pushing down the road with the boys from Kentucky who have taken a bounce through casualty to the 9th Kentucky, the 6th and the 13th, doing just fine moving ahead, while the 3rd Kentucky Cavalry out here on the this is the western side of the battlefield, kind of probing. Some of this cavalry I think is going to dismount this turn and start skirmishing. I got to look those rules up, but it's going to happen probably because we're not going to have any Napoleonic cavalry charges. All right, that ends turn 2. We'll see you in turn 3. All right, welcome to turn 3. I did remember that I forgot to fire General Roberts' artillery, smoothbore, long range, blasting away at deployed artillery, so -2 to this roll. That U.S. artillery battery has a casualty applied to them, and now we will do ADC availability or staff officer availability for both sides. Confederates kind of punt, get 1 available staff officer, while the Union gets all 3. Union's going to put an ADC on every single one of their brigade commanders. The Confederates are going to put 1 on General Driscoll. Hope he can come through and continue the attack down Harrodsburg Road. The Union won initiative last turn. I'm going to let them go first with see which one of their brigades are following orders. They've all been marked. I'm going to roll 2 dice for each because they all have a staff officer available for each brigade commander. All of the Union brigades are active. Now we'll do the Confederate. They'll just get 2 dice for General Driscoll. The rest of the guys are on their own. 4 5s. That's kind of hot. All right. Confederates are all active. That's good. All right, baby. No bonuses to initiative. We're just going to go straight up. Oh, General Deslauriers seizes back the initiative. That's my boy. All right, Confederates, they're going to call some charges out here, I think. It has to happen. The only charge is the, is that the 21st? 21st Tennessee going in against the 3rd Illinois, who are behind a wall, or behind a snake rail fence. So this will be kind of cool figuring all this out, and we'll get, the Illinois boys are going to stand and fire as their thing, and they're trying to blast them into oblivion. And I'll try to figure out how many supports we get from all this junk. So this will be fun. I'll be right back. All right, the Confederates are gonna charging unit, support. Union's gonna have defending unit, support. We get closing fire here from the 3rd Illinois. They popped those rebels with 2 casualties, and now they got to take an elephant test on the way in. All right, they get whipped. They fall back and unform both of those units, and there they are with their 2 casualties. That went just fantastically well for the Confederates. General Roberts not very pleased. All right, the Union doesn't have anybody charged. Now we go into movement now. Technically, I don't know what happens, but these guys were already unformed prior to that. I guess they're like double unformed. I think if you move in the charge phase, you can't move in the regular phase. So everything's going to stay unformed over here, except for these front guys that weren't affected by that. So Roberts' brigade didn't have much it could do because it got its butt kicked. Everything got unformed. Not the same for Brennan's people from South Carolina. We got the 7th South Carolina with the Rebel Yell going down the hill, followed by the 6th South Carolina with him. These gentlemen had fire discipline in the 3rd South Carolina, so they stayed put. And we had a passage of line with the 8th South Carolina taking their spot on the front. And these guys will recover fire discipline by not firing. Also, for a formation change, the cavalry dismounted and have now got 5 bases of skirmishers. Driscoll's boys enter the woods over here. We'll get formation checks on those. Actually, all 4 of his guys as they enter the tree line on the outskirts of this farmstead, looking to engage General Kirk's guys from Kentucky. The 3rd and the 9th Virginia both become unformed as they pass through those trees. Oh, it's not good, baby. All right, that's the end of Confederate movement. Now it's time for the Union. All right, General Haynes on the left flank. He's going to hold firm where he is. These gentlemen will hold firm. These guys are going to advance. We're going to have a passage of line, the 6th New York going through the 4th. They're going to get in some close-range musketry between those boys from New York and the boys from South Carolina. The 4th New York will not fire or move, so they'll regain their fire discipline this turn. The 3rd Kentucky dismounts and form in the skirmish line as a formation change. The rest of Kirk's Kentucky Brigade moves forward. The 6th and the 9th both have to make formation checks as they came over. They crammed through that hole, and these guys came over a fence. Both of those regiments passed their formation check. It's getting juicy over here in that homestead. Oh, baby. All right. We have a lot of shooting going on this turn. Confederates going to kick it off open fire style. We'll start off down here. What is this unit? 3rd, covered up there with their casualty. 3rd Tennessee, firing through the woods and against the snake rail fence. They're not disordered so they can direct their fire. They're going to fire into that unit right there, the Zouave unit on the left. 3rd Illinois takes 3 casualties, goes up to 4, so they're at the 1st level now, and they take an elephant check at -1. Oh, those Illini are pumped. They take it like a champ. They aren't deterred at all. All right, moving down to Brennan's boys from South Carolina. All right, the 7th South Carolina, they moved. They're firing at those boys from New York behind a wall, so it's a -3 already, but they are under the influence of a rebel yell, so they get a +1. Just a -2 to this. Oh no, they pick up the fire discipline. They're just too amped. All right, now we've got the 8th South Carolina firing point blank into these New Yorkers, the 6th. They love each other. -2 for moving, that's it. The South Carolinians are struggling with those muskets. Some of them are holding them backwards, I guess. It's terrible. More fire discipline. Uh-oh. The boys from Virginia, the 9th, have got They moved and they're unformed. A -4 to this. We're going to go for it anyway. Driscoll's got nothing but faith in his boys. Oh no, they pick up a fire discipline. Not going well for the Confederates. All right, the 11th Virginia, the only hope, firing through the trees. They moved. They're in cover. It's just not good. They're going to get hard cover too. That's a stone wall. That's beautiful. So we're a -4 to this. It's all about the bookends for the rebels, as their two farthest flank units both were able to secure hits against the Union, but everything in the middle just not doing well. No effect at all. All right, Union returning fire. Go down here to the boys from Illinois. 15th Illinois and the 3rd Illinois are both going to hammer down into the same Confederate unit there. 3rd Tennessee, brace for impact. Here we go. Just a -1 to this because of the cover. These boys are staggered with, I think, 5 casualties. Take them up to 7. They got an elephant check in there. Not good. Just realized they didn't fire either one of the Confederate artillery pieces either. Just too much for the 3rd Tennessee as they fall back whipped with 7 casualties. 29th Tennessee was already unformed. So this entire look who's on the front, man. General Roberts in the lead of the attack, not doing too good. The entire brigade is either unformed or whipped. Confederate artillery engages in long range counter battery. -2. Chance for a half casualty on the Union. Make it so as Company D of the 4th U.S. Artillery goes up to 2 casualties from that blast. This is too narrow of a shot. These guys down here, unformed Virginia Artillery, are not shooting this turn. 4th U.S. Artillery up there by the mansion, gonna fire across at the Confederates and counter battery. -2 to this roll. Oh no, those guys are up to 3 casualties now as they take a fatigue casualty trying to return fire on the rebels. Webster's, 8 New York, firing effective range into the boys with the rebel yell. They're not really in cover. Sorry about that, gentlemen. It's going to be straight up now, tell me. That is a thunderous volley from those boys from New York into those into the Tennessee guys with the rebel yell. They go up to 5 casualties. They got an elephant check. Would normally be -1, but they do have rebel yell, so it'll be just a straight up check. 7th South Carolina becomes whipped. They run through the 6th South Carolina, unforming them. They lose their rebel yell with the whipped, and they sit back there with 5 casualties with whipped and fire discipline. General Brennan, not happy at all. He wants to take this back to the Citadel and re-practice this attack. 6th New York, point blank range, blasting into the 8th South Carolina. The rebels need a break here. The New Yorkers did move, so this will be a -2. 7th Kentucky, who moved, will fire at the 9th Virginia. It is going to be an effective range shot with a -3. Those boys lose fire discipline themselves. Now the 13th Kentucky, lucky 13, they moved, firing into the trees against the 11th Virginia. This will be a -3 as well. They also jump on the fire discipline trail. Skirmishers are just out of range. The U.S. artillery over here are going to fire at these gentlemen that are elevated on the hill. And 7th South Carolina is too far back for bounce through. So 6th South Carolina will take a... Ooh, this is an effective range shot. Results in a half casualty, so a chance for a casualty. 6th South Carolina goes up to 2 casualties. And that'll bring turn 3 to an end as the Confederate attack seems to be stalling out slightly, especially on the right. Center's not looking too good either. I had high hopes for the 7th South Carolina and their Rebel Yell ability, but they just got smoked. And everything over here is just completely turned to poop. It's all up to Driscoll, man. What can he do? Everyone on the western side of the battlefield has fire discipline problems, though. Oh, all right. We need some rallying and all kinds of good stuff here, especially for these gentlemen. They're just getting pounded. All right. We'll see you in turn 4. You guys are awesome. All right, time for turn 4, staff officer availability for both sides. All right, the Union ends up with 2 available staff officers. The Confederates end up with 3. General Carmichael's going to put his 2 staff officers down here with General Haynes for a double quick order. I'm going to try to slam this brigade into the already messed up Confederate brigade down here and try to wipe them out and take the right flank of the Confederate army. In the center, we're going to try to get a rally order to get some casualties off the 7th South Carolina. They just got their butts kicked. All right, let's see who's active. We'll do the Union first. We'll do the Confederates first because they won initiative. Alright, all 3 Confederate brigades are active. Let's flip over and see how the Union does. General Kirk goes hesitant on the Union far right. The other 2 brigades under Webster and Haynes are both active. We'll get a -1 initiative to the Union roll. The momentum of this battle keeps shifting back and forth. This time, General Carmichael seizing the initiative for the Union. All right, it charges. The Union is going to, with the charge down here on the left. Sorry, they'll do a charge, and they'll do the forwards bonus to that charge. All right, this brigade charges in against the boys from Tennessee. We're going to get 3 maneuver checks to see if they can stay formed, because 3 of the regiments crossed over the snake rail fence and one of them went through the woods. The 14th Illinois struggles getting over the snake rail fence and climbing into the woods, becoming unformed, but the rest of the regiments are intact and looking good as they go in for the charge. We'll get closing fire from the 29th Tennessee and the 4th Tennessee. Both regiments are unformed. The 29th Tennessee picks up a fire discipline as they start to panic, and their volley is absolutely terrible. On the other hand, the 4th Tennessee just absolutely unloads into the 3rd Illinois, hitting them for 3 casualties. They're up to 7 now, and they take a check the see the elephant test -1. The 3rd Illinois falls back, whipped. It just gets hammered by that volley. They jump the fence, unform the 6th Illinois. That's where they are now, behind the snake rail fence. These guys have fallen back behind them after their 6-inch move, and that was a great job by the 4th Tennessee. We will get a charge right here, though, as the 15th Illinois slams into the 29th Tennessee. Unfortunately, the Illinois plan was to attack both front regiments to kind of mitigate the supports, kind of tie it up. Now we've got a problem where the 15th Illinois is just supported by the regiment behind them, while the 29th Tennessee is supported to the left and to the rear. Alright, both sides will roll 2d6. The Confederates will suffer a -2 penalty of their roll because they're unformed. and then we'll get a 2 supports for the Confederates and 1 for the Union. Alright, initial for Union's at 6, the Confederates are at 7, but -2 to 5, so they're going to re-roll their 2 they got. That didn't help. They got 1 more support. They're going to re-roll that. They hit a home run with an 11 that goes down to a 9. Union's sitting at 6. They have 1 support. They're going to roll their 1 of their 3s. The Union is going to lose by 2. Let's go ahead and see what that does. 15th Illinois is halted in their initial charge. They will step back and fire 2 casualty dice into the 29th Tennessee. Putting 2 casualties onto those gentlemen. They're up to 3 now, and that'll end the charge phase as we go on to Union movement, where there isn't any. Only really brigade that wanted to move was General Kirk to move up these guys against the stone wall, but they are hesitant, so they're not going to do that at all. I feel like the Union's in a good place in the center here. We're going to hold off, and then of course we got all the charges on the left. We'll go over to Confederate movement. Alright, this brigade took part in the hand-to-hand. These guys did not move, so they're both going to lose their whip tag because they're in a brigade that's following commands. Down here, General Brennan is going to try to rally 1 D3 casualties off of the 7th South Carolina, and the rest of these guys will hold in place. Actually, check that. The 3rd South Carolina will step ahead of these gentlemen. No, they're going to stay there. Well, these guys will recover their fire discipline, hopefully, and that'll do it. General Brennan's able to rally 3 casualties off the 7th South Carolina, getting them back to 2. You're only allowed to rally a brigade 1 time during the battle. So I've marked that on my whiteboard that General Brennan has performed that action in this combat. Over here, General Driscoll has ordered the 37th Virginia to pass lines and go past the 9th Virginia. They have taken up the stone wall, which General Kirk was hoping to take, but he's lost the advantage there. These gentlemen held firm, have not moved, and the artillery is pushed forward down the road 3 inches, trying to bring that to bear at close range. Alright, starting off with Union firing, this artillery battery will fire long range. It's just too close down here against these gentlemen, counter battery style. -2 to this roll. Great shooting versus the Tennessee artillery battery. They're up to 5 casualties now, so they get hit for 2 more from that Union guns. Southern Union battery is going to fire at effective range against the 6th South Carolina on that ridge. Southern Union battery is going to fire at effective range against the 6th South Carolina on that ridge. They do 1 casualty to the 6th South Carolina, raising them up to 3. Now this regiment at the bottom of the hill is going to fire up at these gentlemen. They'll pay a -1 penalty for the woods. Long range shot. The 8th New York inflicts 1 more casualty on the 6th South Carolina, raising them to 4. The 6th New York is going to hold fire for a turn and lose their fire discipline. I think the 7th Kentucky will do the same, and so will the 13th Kentucky, getting rid of all their fire discipline. Over here, the 8th Tennessee will fire. They're going to get a -1 to this because of the casualties they have. They'll do counter battery. Actually get a -3 to this because of their shooting at deployed artillery. They get a half casualty. Let's see if that is able to convert. Nice. That pushes that U.S. artillery battery up to 4 casualties themselves. They'll have a -1 from now on. South Carolina will fire down the hill. They'll have a -2 to this, 1 for casualties and 1 for the snake rail fence the Union's behind. And I think that's it, right? Long range shot. They put a casualty on the 8th New York, raising them to 2. All right, these guys are not going to shoot. 8th South Carolina will get back their fire discipline as they don't shoot. These skirmishers, though, have the dismounted cavalry moved into the woods. They will fire. They got 5 skirmish bases against the Union. There's 5 bases. They're firing at those gentlemen in there. They get 1 shot per base. Looking for 5s or 6 to hit. I did give these guys breech loaders, so they're going to extra die. So 6 shots. Looking for 5s and 6s. 6th New York suffers 1 casualty from that shooting from the skirmishers in the woods. Now we'll slide over, and this unit up against the fence will fire into Kurt's guys in the open at effective range. There'll be a -2 to this because of they moved. 37th Virginia hammers the 7th Kentucky with 2 casualties. They're going to take a see the elephant test. That's some good shooting. They passed that, so that's great. And that might end turn 4. Because these guys are going to lose their fire discipline down here. Well, they lost their... No, they had to shoot. I didn't shoot the 11th Virginia. 11th Virginia is going to fire... I got to measure the range here. They're in cover behind... Oh, it's going to be a -2. Shot was at effective range. They're going to put 1 casualty onto that 13th Kentucky, raising them to 2 casualties. This artillery is not going to shoot as they push forward. Probably 1 more turn and they'll be in range to do some close range stuff, but they'll also be taking fire. Oh, it's not going to be good. And that'll end turn 4 as we go into turn 5. That's awesome. All right, guys. All right, time for turn 5 ADCs. Let's get it on. Holy cow, did you see that? Triple 1s for the Union. Complete and utter command control failure. I think General Carmichael fell off his horse when his stallion saw a rattlesnake or something. No orders going out this turn to the Union. They're mass command confusion. Should be something bad for that, for triple 1s. Confederates going to put all 3 down here on General Roberts. Going to rally the 3rd Tennessee, try to shake some of these casualties. Let's see what the Union can do, because they had initiative last turn. They're going first to see if their brigades are active. Oh no, General Kurt continues to be hesitant. He doesn't know what to do over there. He must be like a horticulture guy. He got in here, saw some interesting plants. Now he's kind of working the ground a little bit while his troops are flailing. Sorry, James, you suck. All right, let's see what the Confederates can do. General Driscoll is confused by General Kirk's love of horticulture, and he's kind of watching, seeing if he's missing something. He also goes hesitant, forgets to tell his brigade colonels what to do, or his regimental commanders. General Roberts going to go ahead and rally one. It's not. We're going to do it now during the getting a rally off some casualties off these guys. It's going to take 2 casualties off, taking them down to 5. Not too bad. I know how my brain works. Want to take care of business really quick. Forgot about that. All right, let's do initiative. -1 for both sides. Initiative continues to go back and forwards. Now we got General Deslauret seizing the initiative, gonna tell Johnny Reb what to do, but not over here because General Driscoll, he's worried about horticulture. All right, Union charges. Confederate charges. We got an advantage over here. Don't feel like it's there yet. We're gonna do some firing before we do any more charges. Gonna have to make this a sure thing. That's probably the key to victory, is wearing down your opponent and then charging after they're broken a little bit. So no charges for the Confederates. Union's gonna do the same thing. Seems like a sound tactical advice. I've gone in against formed units and got my butt kicked in the last 2 charges, so I'm gonna break some people down first, then go to charge on them. All right, time for movement. The 6th South Carolina and the 7th South Carolina are gonna advance. They're gonna move down against the fence, kind of negating the bonus for either side for that fence. They're just basically just leaning over weapons over, just blasting each other. These gentlemen are going to hold their ground and reform. General Haynes's boys are going to do the same thing. They're going to reform and lose their whip and hold still just to get their act back together again. He would have loved to have shaken some casualties off those Zouave unit with 7 casualties, but the 111s on staff officer availability does not help. General Webster in the center is going to hold his ground. And that's about it, I think, for him. His artillery won't be able to shoot because the Confederates are too close, so he'll just wait for someone to break free and then smack them with a canister. And over here we can't get any movement at all because of the hesitance for both of these guys. All right, we'll go over to this, the 29th Tennessee, firing into the 15th Illinois. Effective range, nobody moved, no cover. It's going to be horrible, unless they roll terrible. Not so good. They're only able to inflict 1 casualty on the 15th Illinois. The 4th Tennessee will do the same thing to the 8th Illinois, but they'll have a -1 to this because of the fence. They will pick up a fire discipline for their troubles. Oh, terrible. All right, backing up to the Tennessee artillery. I'm going to fire a long-range shot. -3. 1 for the casualties and 2 for firing at deployed artillery. No effect at all at long range. That finishes up General Roberts' brigade. Not so good. All right, the 6th South Carolina for General Brennan has marched down the hill. They're engaged at point blank range against the 8th New York. Be a -2 for moving. Ooh, -3 because of the casualty they have. They're up to 4 casualties. 8th New York suffers a casualty, taking them up to 3, blasting those Tennessees. Boys, sliding to the right, close range firefight against these gentlemen. Nobody moved, just got to check casualties for modifiers. The 8th South Carolina only has 1 casualty, so this will be no modifier. The 8th South Carolina only has 1 casualty, so this will be no modifier. 6th New York up to 3 casualties now. They suffer 2, have taken an elephant test. Those New Yorkers, forget about it. They sound like more from Jersey. They go unformed. Oh, too much for them. All right, big opportunity for the 37th Virginia, firing at the Union, trapped in the middle of the field, looking around at their general going, what is going on? Here comes a volley. They smacked those boys with 3 casualties, taking them up to 5. That's no good. Oh, they gotta see the elephant test. -1. Those boys from Kentucky go unformed. Now we're sliding over to the 11th Virginia, firing at these gentlemen in cover. -2. Those boys are they take another casualty, go up to 4. So they got that -1 thing now. All right, time for the Union to fire back. No, it isn't. I forgot about the breech-loading infantry down here, firing into that Union regiment right there. 5 bases with breech loaders, so 6 dice. 3 casualties, taking them up to 6. They're unformed. They have to take a see the elephant check. Unformed doesn't do anything for see the elephant, just -1 for the casualties. Alright, they passed that test. That's awesome. Alright, those guys have 6 casualties now. Not a bad round of shooting for the Union, for the Confederates. Union going to return fire now. Alright, first thing for the Union to shoot will be the 15th Illinois. Boom! No modifiers. Effective range. Blast. They hammer into the 29th Tennessee, doing 4 casualties, elevating to 7. They got a -1 elephant check. The 8th Illinois, or 6th Illinois, excuse me, blasting, no modifiers on this one, into these gentlemen here, the 4th Tennessee. In case I forgot to mention it, the 29th Tennessee, they love their elephant test. They've been there, they've done that, they know what's up. These two regiments must have relatives in both, in each other's regiments. They get fire discipline as well. They're not in a big hurry to blow any holes in those guys. We'll back it up and we'll go with the U.S. artillery battery with 4 casualties firing long distance shot, -3. I'm going to take out the 8th Tennessee artillery battery. Those gentlemen are working too hard. Get them a Gatorade. That's their 5th casualty. They take a fatigue casualty. Coming over here, we got the 8th New York firing a shot into the 6th South Carolina. No modifiers here. They're 1 away from taking a -1. The 6th South Carolina suffers 1 more casualty. They're up to 5 now. We're going to pivot over here to the 6th New York. They have 6 casualties firing into this other Tennessee regiment. There'll be a -1 to this. Oh, they're unformed. Oh, -3. They do put a 2nd casualty into the 8th South Carolina. Those guys are definitely from New York, are losing the battle ever since those dismounted cavalry got into the woods there. They've been popping some extra shots into them. They're going to need some help. This unformed regiment from Kentucky going to fire into these boys from Virginia, the Old Dominion. Well, this is not going to be good. Maybe we don't want to shoot. They got to go for it. I'm sorry. They're getting pounded. They're unformed. They are firing into hard cover, which is another -2, and they have 5 casualties. So that's a -5. Oh! It would have been better not to shoot. Now they're unformed, 2nd level casualty, and they have fire discipline. Swinging over here, the 13th Tennessee firing through the trees. They got 4 casualties, so it'll be a -2 to this. 11th Tennessee suffers 2 casualties. They have to take a see the elephant check. These skirmishers have been, they can't get any closer and they're still out of range, so they won't be able to shoot either. They passed that test. That ends the shooting. The U.S. artillery battery in the center can't, nothing is open to expose to shoot. Everything's within 9 inches of a friendly target. These aren't JDAMs. And there we go. So we're getting a little bit of just wearing each other out. They're going to shoot for a while, I think, and then some of these units are going to start buckling. They're going to get charged. But the wear and tear is starting to occur, and hopefully it keeps on going. All right, guys, you're awesome. We'll see you in turn 6. Turn 6, let's roll for some staff officer availability. Both sides have 2 staff officers each. General Kirk and General Webster will both get a re-roll if needed, and that same thing will go for General Driscoll and for General Brennan here in the center. On the eastern edge of the battlefield, General Haynes and General Roberts being left to their own devices. Just in this slugfest over here in front of the plantation house. I really wanted the Union to get 3 staff officers so they could do some rallying. It's getting kind of sad down here. The only Confederate commander who hasn't used it yet is General Driscoll. All right, the Confederates have the initiative right this moment from last turn. Let's see who's active for them. All right, thanks to a reroll in there, all the Confederate battalions are active. We'll do the same thing for the Union here real quick. Union is also active across the board. Let's do an initiative check, and then it'll be an even initiative. We'll go from there. Once again, the pendulum swings. General Carmichael seizes the initiative back. It's just going back and forth. It's like, my turn, your turn. It's a heavyweight slugfest. Take your best shot. Here I come now. All right, there might be a charge or two. Let's see what happens. All right, oops, hang on. All right, the Union's going to go for it across the board. Bit suicidal, but it sounds like fun. 15th Illinois, charge. 6th Illinois, charge. 8th New York, charge. 4th New York. I gotta measure that, hang on. All right, the Union's gonna go for it across the board. Bit suicidal, but it sounds like fun. 15th Illinois, charge. 6th Illinois, charge. 8th New York, charge. 4th New York. I gotta measure that, hang on. 4th New York will charge through the friendlies. 9th Kentucky will charge. They will hold still. So all the way across the line, except for these skirmishers and these gentlemen here, the Union is pushing their luck. I feel like they're going to lose the center here. They're getting outgunned. Got to get the skirmishers involved. Start pushing in from the right. They're going to hold their ground here. All right, 9th New York charges the 37th Virginia. 37th Virginia, no negative modifiers, unloading into them on the way in. Driscoll's boys drop the hammer on those Kentuckians, just smoking them. 4 casualties, they're up to 5. Have to take an elephant test now at -1. Oh! Oh, they absolutely love it. That's some brave guys right there. They get hammered. They got that Kentucky pride. They're coming in hardcore. All right, let's do the charge. They both have 1 support, and we'll do the other modifiers. The Kentucky boys are going to have a -3 to this because they took 4 casualties on the way in. For every 2 you get -1, so that's -2. And they're up to the 2nd level of casualties, so -3 total. All right, the Union's going to re-roll that 1 out their 1 support. It looks like a 9-9, but actually with the -3, the Union is going to lose by 3. No point re-rolling it for the Confederates, I don't think. Let me double check. The 7th and the 9th Kentucky both have to make a retire move. They fall back 18 inches. They're both unformed. They both take a casualty, so they're both up to 6, and they're unformed way back here, almost at the start line. Oh, not so good. The boys from Virginia, send them packing. They wave and swinging their hats in the air as the Union retreats. All right, the 8th South Carolina will fire closing fire into the 4th New York as they are charged. 4th New York gets wailed on. It's a good time for the Confederates to learn how to start shooting. They take 4 casualties on the way in. They have to take a see the elephant check, and we'll see if they can keep up the momentum after they get smoked like that. This New Yorker shows some serious intestinal fortitude. They keep it coming. All right, they're going to engage in a charge. They slam into each other. They will suffer a -2 to this roll because of the number of casualties they took on the way in. And they both have 1 support. And I was just checking, those skirmishers or dismounted cavalry in the woods, they can be supported, but they cannot lend support. So they can't even help fire closing fire as the Union comes on in against these boys from South Carolina. The Union breaks out a double-6. The Confederates pull out a double-1. Two completely opposite ends of the spectrum here. Let's roll the serendipity check right now. So that charge actually, that serendipity roll actually removes the support they could have had. The colonel like runs out of the way or something like that. It's so terrified. They can't even organize the support. So it's going to stand. The Union, so they have a -2. So that goes on to a 10 versus a 2. They're going to win by 8. All right, the 8th South Carolina is rout. So they're whipped and facing the wrong direction. They're going to take 1d6 casualties. Their support, the 3rd South Carolina, is also whipped, but they are facing the correct direction at least. They've both fallen back 18 inches. Union will take the ground and recover 1 casualty. Whoa, what a mess. Oh, and the brigade is marked as faltering. General Brennan not happy. General Webster is pumped as the right side of his brigade steamrolls the Confederate line, breaking through. Looking back at his other boys, calling them to come to the top of the hill, see what they can do. General Brennan all alone looking around with his falter marker. 6th South Carolina closing fire into the other brigades from New York. -1 to this because they're casualties. Confederacy continues to dominate with their closing fire as they put 3 casualties onto that other unit from New York. I think it's the 8th, taking them up to 6. They have a -1. See the elephant check as they come rushing in for the charge. Once again, the New Yorkers displaying massive intestinal fortitude as they ignore all those casualties. They come charging in. They'll have a -2 to this roll. Both units have 1 support. A 9 versus a 4. Confederates got to roll their 2 to see if they can beat it. Right now, with the -2 penalty that the Union has, it is a draw. I think the Union can't take a chance of re-rolling that 5 or the 4. They're going to go with the hand-to-hand combat. All right, both units have 6 bases. No one's over 8 casualties, so it's going to be even. 6 on 6, looking for 4, 5s, and 6s. So that ends up being a tie. They just beat the heck out of each other. They both take 3 casualties. They both retire. The 6th South Carolina is up to 8 casualties. They're unformed. As they pass through the 7th South Carolina, they unform them. The 8th New York takes 3 casualties. They've got 9 now. They're unformed as they pass through the 10th New York, leaving them unformed. 7th South Carolina all by themselves, kind of in a sea of who knows what. General Brennan's looking around going, where the heck's my units? It's just a total disaster. And the center is a mess. All right, 6th Illinois going in against the 4th Tennessee with a fire discipline on them. So the 4th Tennessee will be firing a deadbeat effective range volley against the Union as they come running in. They're only able to put 1 casualty on those Zouaves from Illinois as they come charging in. All right, let's do some charging. Both sides have 1 support. Confederates are immediately going to re-roll their 1. Well, that sucked. All right, the Union's going to go for the throat and go re-roll their 1. 4th Tennessee is whipped. The 21st Tennessee retires. They both fall back 18 inches. 21st Tennessee is unformed as well, and the 4th Tennessee will take 1d3 casualties. 4th Tennessee is up to 6 casualties now, and then these 2 Zouave units can advance 2d6 inches. Zouaves move 7 inches forward, doing wonderfully, and now we've got the last closing fire by the 29th Tennessee against the Union as they come running in. And this will be a -1 to this shot. They put 2 casualties on the 15th Illinois as they come rushing in. That'll cause a -1 on this charge that's about to happen. And both sides have 1 support. The 29th Tennessee will also have a -1 to this because they have 7 casualties. Both sides roll a 6 and a 2. Confederates going to re-roll their 2. They do worse. Oh no! Union re-rolling their 2. Can they do better? Oh, they need to roll a 4 to not have to halt and volley. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. The Confederates are going to hold unformed. The Union is going to halt and volley with 5 CD, hitting on 4, 5s, and 6s. Holy smokes. They do put 3 more casualties on them, raising the 29th Tennessee to 10 casualties. That's close to being totally hosed, and they're unformed. Oh, what a mess. Alright, that ends the charge phase. Wow. Okay. Let's go on to the movement phase. Union really only had 1 move. They moved their dismounted cavalry up into the trees so they can engage in pretty close range shooting against the 11th Virginia over here trying to take Harrodsburg Road. Everything else basically took part in the charge. What a mess. Alright, what do the Confederates got? They push these guns forward. And that might be it. I guess these skirmishers will pivot a little bit. Yeah, I think that's about it. Everything else has been took part in the charge phase. Holy cow. Okay, shooting wise, Union guns up on the hill, gonna counter battery style. Actually, they have a clean shot at these two. I'm gonna try to wipe them out. There's over 9 inches to that unit so they can fire overhead at them. A long range artillery shot, -1. No effect. That cannonball comes flying in. Oh, let me roll a bounce through die. Bounce through does cause a casualty to 21st Tennessee, raising them to 3. Ordnance rifles of Company B, 4th U.S. Artillery, blast away into 7th South Carolina, and now they're exposed. Raises them 2 casualties to 4 now, as they are the lone Confederates. They're tip of the spear, baby. They're all alone out there. 13th Kentucky will fire into the 11th Virginia. -2, 1 because of casualties and 1 because of the trees. That raises them 2 casualties to 4. And now are the skirmishers firing breech-loading rifles, 6 shots. Looking for 5s and 6s against these gentlemen. Two more casualties on them, causing them to get to 6. Also, a double 6 causes a see the elephant check on these gentlemen at -1. They score an 8 and past that, as it drops down to a 7 is what they need. Oh, the pressure's on. All right, that ends the Union firing for turn 6. Confederates firing back. We'll start down here. These gentlemen will fire into the boys from Kentucky, infantry-wise. They'll have a 3 to this because of their casualties in the hard cover of the stone wall. They'll pick up a fire discipline for their hard work. Oh, it sucks. 3rd Virginia Artillery at canister range. -2 because they moved. I don't think cover matters. He's going to blow right through stone walls. We'll give him a -1 since they're firing just shotgun bolts at him. They blast them for 2 casualties, raising those boys from Kentucky to 6 casualties. Skirmishers firing 6 shots into that rear unit from the flank. They put 3 more casualties onto the 6th New York, raising it to 9. Oh, that's brutal. Those guys can't do anything. And left, I think it's left is just a canister shot from the Tennessee artillery into these Illinois Zouaves. They hammer them with 3 casualties plus a C the elephant check with that shotgun blast from those. Oh, they get extra damage too if those are Napoleonic guns or 12-pound Napoleons. Hang on. They do 1 extra CD of damage. 1 second. Forgot those were smoothbores, so 1 extra casualty. They're up to 5 now. They take 4, and their elephant check will be at -1. And that is very understandable as the 6th Illinois becomes unformed under the hail of nails and screws and everything else they just got pounded with. That'll bring turn 6 to an end. I'm going to call it the turn of destiny. Oh my oh my Lanta! What a mess. The charges went pretty well for the Union. They won here. They won in a lot of places, caused a lot of casualties, a lot of chaos. Yeah, they did lose, or they drew over here, I forgot. And they lost over here a little bit, but overall, I think General Carmichael could be very, very happy with his overall plan here. So we can take advantage of. We do have a faltered brigade here in the center with General Brennan. A little misstep here or a lack of staff officers could cause massive issues if the entire center vanishes on the Union with one of those all chewed up results. All right, well, we'll be back in turn 7. Holy smokes, there's boys everywhere. Okay guys, great game. All right, turn 7, staff officers. This is a big one. Confederates really need a bunch. All right, the Confederates put 2 staff officers, basically a reroll and a morale one to try to get rid of this faltering thing on General Brennan. The Union puts 2 of their 2 staff officers onto Webster's artillery battery, going artillery assault, trying to put these South Carolinas in the grave. So they're going after those boys. All right, let's see which of these brigades are active or not. Union had initiative in turn 6, so they'll go first. They are all online and all going. So Haynes, Webster, and Kirk, the law firm, are all ready to go. Let's see what the Confederates can do. This is big because we've got a faltering brigade here in the center. All right, they got a reroll on Brennan's brigade. Right now he's got the all chewed up, which isn't going to be good. So we're going to reroll that and hope to do better than a 1. Also, Driscoll's brigade has gone hesitant again. Oh, come on, baby. So Brennan's able to rally, but his brigade is still hesitant, so he's not able to clear it all the way. So a lot of these units are going to remain, like the whipped units are going to stay whipped, which is no bueno. But that beats the heck out of the alternative they started off with. So thankfully the Confederates had enough ADCs to supply a reroll for that. All right, so we've got 2 hesitant brigades for the Confederates. The Union is none, a -2 to the initiative roll for the Confederates against the Union. And that -2 gets it done for the Union as the Confederates drop to a 6 compared to their 7. The Union retains initiative for the first time. Anybody's won it 2 turns in a row. All right, so the Union starting first. General Haynes is once again going to be a psychopath and send both of his, both wings of his brigade in on charges again. The Zouaves are in range to charge the 4th Tennessee, and the guys dressed up like the Marines from the 15th Illinois can reach the 29th Tennessee. The rest of the Union is not going to charge, so that's the only charges. Confederates have no charges to call out, so that's all we got. All right, the 15th Illinois rushes forward again against the 29th Tennessee. 29th Tennessee will unload into these gentlemen -2. They pick up a fire discipline during that charge, which is horrible. And now we've got a straight up melee. We've got one. Confederates are unformed. I don't know if that affects anything, and have 10 casualties. That's not good. Union has 3 casualties and look like they're in order. Confederates will have a -4 versus the Union straight up. Confederates got a 4 and a 1 versus the Union 5 and a 2. The Confederates will re-roll that 1, hoping for a 6. Union's going to go for the blowout after the Confederates just punted there and re-roll their 2. Not as good as they wanted, but the Union is going to win by 5. So they're going to get a press on or take the ground result versus a whipped and supports retire, which is going to blow these guys back 18 inches. These guys are getting into my dice rolling zone here. 3rd Tennessee retires, unformed, 18 inches back. They lose a casualty, 6. These guys keep their fire discipline. They're whipped. They lose 1 D3 casualties. If I get a 2 or a 3, they're going to disperse, which is going to falter the brigade. So that takes them to 13 casualties. They will disperse, faltering the brigade. All right, as these Zouaves come crashing in from Illinois on the 4th Tennessee, these guys are whipped. They have fire discipline. They have 6 casualties. They will fire on the deadbeat volley at -3. They get a chance for a half casualty here. They're both going to have -3, and they're both going to have 1 support because one's unformed, the other one's whipped, and they both have 6 casualties. Right now it's a draw. They're going to go to fisticuffs. Yeah! All right, let's get the dice together. This is going to be fun. We're looking for 4, 5s, and 6s. The Union is going to roll 5 dice. The Confederates will roll 4. The 6th Illinois puts 4 casualties onto the boys from Tennessee. They get 3 back in return. They're going to win the hand-to-hand. They're going to take the ground. They're up to 9 casualties now. They're still unformed. The boys from Tennessee, the 4th, end up way back here on the edge of the universe. They're still whipped. They got 10 casualties. And, yeah, they're teetering. The whole Tennessee brigade is in mucho trouble. General Roberts watching his brigade get blown to pieces. It's not looking good. He's looking over for support from General Brennan. Not much over there either. Oh! We'll go over to movement phase. Start off with Union infantry. Well, Union everything moving. All right. Haynes's regiment's already done everything, or brigade's already done everything on the left side of the Union line. The 8th New York under Webster is going to reform. 10th New York under Webster is going to reform. And he's got these guys up here. Blah, blah, blah. Give me a minute. The 6th New York stepped back and did a slight wheel in reverse 6 inches. And the 4th New York did the same thing and wheeled back this direction. Not a lot of good options just because of they're surrounded almost, even though these gentlemen are pointing the wrong direction. The 9th and the 7th Kentucky over here under Kurt's command are going to reform. And the on the far right flank of the Union, the 13th and the 6th Kentucky plus the skirmishers are going to hold position and continue to pour fire into the Confederates of Driscoll's command. For the Brennan's command, because General Roberts can't do a dang thing, 6th South Carolina is going to reform. The 7th South Carolina is going to reform. Their cavalry is going to hold still. Oh, they're hesitant. I don't think they can reform. Hang on. Cool. I went through the rule book. Unformed units in hesitant brigades can reform. So the 6th and the 7th South Carolina are both going to reform and stay in place. Whipped regiments can't do a darn thing. I'm 99% sure. I'll come back to that. And these guys are hesitant as well, and they're just going to hold position. Boy, whipped units also lose a casualty, so that's not good. These guys will go up to 3, and these guys go up to 1. Now we go on to firing. Start over on the side here with General Haynes's artillery battery. U.S. artillery battery will fire counter battery style against these gentlemen at -3. These guys have been hurting themselves more than they've been getting hurt. They're up to 6 casualties now. All right, moving down to General Webster. His 4th U.S. Artillery Company B going to fire artillery assault against the 7th South Carolina. They inflict 2 casualties on them, raising them to 6. All right, now we've got the 4th New York. That's a 45 degree into the flank of those gentlemen. And also the New York unit up there, they can fire too, so this is going to be fun. All right, the 10th New York is going to fire a long-range volley at these South Carolina boys from the 7th. You hear my daughter vacuuming. The fog of war is a vacuum cleaner. All right, the 7th South Carolina suffers another casualty. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. Now the 4th New York will fire into them. They move. This will be a -2 volley. Those gentlemen are up to 8 casualties. Now we've got the 6th New York firing at skirmishers in the woods after moving. This could be like about a bazillion minuses. We're gonna have some fun. It's a -6. There's no way they're gonna do anything. Oh, they gave it a good run, but they suffer fire discipline there. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Over here, the 13th Kentucky firing into the woods. 13th Kentucky has 6 casualties, so that's a -1, and then the woods is another -1, so -2 to this effective range. They take a casualty and go up to 7 casualties total. All right, that finishes the Union up. We'll continue now with the Confederates firing back, or at least thinking about it. All right, the 11th Virginia's got 7 casualties. They want to fire at the 13th Kentucky, but we're looking at a blah 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 -4 and on the deadbeat volley table. So they're going to hold their fire and regain their fire discipline. 37th Virginia moving next to the right. I got to do the artillery next. Sorry about that. They're going to 45 degree angle and fire into the whatever the heck that is, the 6th New York. No cover. Well, they're going to get one cover because they're pretty close, but -1. They pull out the big guns. They hammer him with 3 casualties. That will destroy the unit, dispersing the 6th New York. Webster's brigade will falter as those boys get hammered. Now the 3rd Virginian Cavalry firing canister into the 13th Kentucky, just sitting there begging for it. Smoke them if you got them. 4 casualties plus an elephant test. Oh my gosh. They're up to 10 casualties now. This will be a -2 check. The 13th Kentucky routes. They unformed the 6th Kentucky. They're treated like they're whipped. They're way the heck back here. Now they have to do a see the elephant check for the 6th Kentucky. They fail that miserably and fall back whipped as well. So now that also, the original route faltered the brigade, but 2 whipped regiments also falters the brigades. We're double faltered, baby. General Kirk in trouble. Looking to his left, General Webster in trouble. General Haynes, man, I love that guy. He's doing great. All right. Nobody wants to win this battle. It's a total disaster. All right, let's move on into the center here. All right, now the skirmishers, or the dismounted cavalry of the Virginian cavalry, firing their breech loaders. 6 shots at these gentlemen in the back. They popped the 4th New York with 6 casualties. Now they're up 2 more. Oh, horrible. 16 inches away, the 6th South Carolina firing a long-range shot. -2 versus the 4th New York. That puts 1 additional casualty on the 4th New York, taking up to 7 casualties. And finally, the 7th South Carolina will fire straight ahead. Nobody's in cover here at that New York regiment. That's it, long range. -2 for having 8 casualties. They pick up a fire discipline like it's their job. Oh, sad. These guys were all involved with the hand-to-hand. The final shot will be the 8th Tennessee Artillery firing at effective range at those gentlemen there. -1 to this. And that'll be with bounce through. Both of those regiments take 1 casualty. The 15th Illinois is up to 4, while the 14th Illinois is got 1. And that's going to end turn 7. It's like a battle of who wants it more, as both sides are just getting beat. At the beginning of the turn, I was like, well, the Confederates lost. And then after that artillery and all this stuff down here from what's left of Brennan's brigade and Driscoll's brigade, I'm like, holy cow, that artillery blast just smoked Kirk's boys right out of the ballpark. Okay, we've got faltering brigades everywhere. I think we have 4 faltering brigades, 2 on each side. Or not, no, sorry, Confederates have 1, that is Robert's brigade, and the Union has 2 in Webster and Kirk's brigade. All right, this is going to be huge. Turn 8, staff officer availability. These guys are going to need all the help they can get to prevent total destruction of their armies. Oh no, the Confederates get 2. The Union gets 1. Is that right? Oh no, that's nightmare. Oof. All right, stand by. General Deslorey is going to assign a divisional morale, or sorry, not divisional, a brigade morale and a reroll to General Roberts on the right flank. General Carmichael thinks he needs to hold his center. He can't have his army split in half here, so he's just going to put a divisional morale, or sorry, brigade morale on General Webster. General Kirk, he's going to automatically suffer something catastrophic. All right, let's do the Union. We'll do the General Kirk disaster later, but let's do the Union, see what their brigades are active, because they had initiative. Well, that's absolutely horrible. General Haynes goes hesitant. Uh, General Webster gets the catastrophic disaster. So he's going to be completely annihilated. And the only one would follow commands, or would be a non-hesitant brigade, would be General Kirk, but he's automatically taken that catawampously catastrophic, all chewed up nightmare. So these two brigades both take the L, and then the last brigade is hesitant. All right, let me consult the rule book and see how horrible this is going to be. All right, so this is what happens with this catawampously chewed up. All brigade units retire 18 inches to the rear, lose 2 casualties, lose a staff officer for each one of them. So they're going to lose, we're down to 1 staff officer from now on. Routed and whip units dispersed, and artillery low on ammunition. Oh, that's what happens too. And no other action permitted. Brigade continues to falter. So with that, those 2 catawampously chewed up results, the 10th New York retreats back here with 2 casualties. The 4th New York ends up back here with 9 casualties. Webster's brigade is faltering and also tuckered out. Kirk has got the 9th Kentucky, only besides the cavalry, with 9 casualties. He's also faltering and tuckered out. And the 3rd Kentucky light cavalry remounts, and they have 2 casualties. They're back here. The Army only has 1 staff officer left, so they're going to lose one of these, if not both of these brigades next turn. Automatically they're going to lose 1, could possibly lose 2. They're all on the edge of the world. What they did lose that turn was the 13th Kentucky, 7th Kentucky, 6th Kentucky, 8th New York, and the 4th U.S. Artillery Company B. They lost all that in a blink of an eye, either by being in a whipped brigade. There were 2, or whipped regiment. There were 2 of those, and then 3 regiments retreated off the board. I did make a slight change to the the Confederate situation, because with 2 whipped infantry regiments, you're automatically faltered. So they moved 1 staff officer here for brigade morale, and the other one's over here. That's all they've got. So we'll roll the Confederates and see if they do any better than the Union did. This could be a complete and utter both sides retreating. So Robert's brigade withdraws. They'll fall back 12 inches and lose several regiments. Brennan's brigade gets catawampously chewed up. They're going to lose at least 2 regiments. And then the brigade following commands is Driscoll. General Driscoll for the win! So he's good to go. Not much better for the Confederates, as General Roberts withdraws 12 inches as artillery rolls off the hill. He loses some regiments. The 21st Tennessee is intact and back here with them. His brigade remains hesitant. He still has his staff officer. Unfortunately, General Brennan can't say the same. He continues to falter. He loses 2 regiments. The 6th South Carolina is falling back to here with 10 casualties. 7th South Carolina is falling back to here with 10 casualties. And we have lost the 8th South Carolina, the 3rd South Carolina, and the 3rd and 4th Tennessee. The Confederates have 2 staff officers left. The Union has 1. Both sides would withdraw with a good chunk of their army fleeing the battlefield. As the Confederates stream back towards Danville, Union will fall back on Harrodsburg. This will end up being a Union tactical victory, if you can believe that. The Confederates were not able to advance towards Harrodsburg, just not an effective force. General de Slaughter just doesn't have enough stuff to keep going. He's going to call it quits and retreat and bivouac and go eat some good food down back in Danville and get retrooped up again, get rearmed up again, and take another shot at this attack in the near future. But yeah, so a Union tactical victory, and pretty awesome. So overall, my thoughts on this rule system is, why the heck didn't I play it earlier? Wow, fantastic. I am looking forward to playing more of this. I will be expanding my forces for the Civil War. Not a little bit more in 28 millimeter. I'm not going past 16 infantry regiments per side. But yeah, when I got all of these warlord epic Civil War guys that are going to be painted in short order, and it's going to be an ongoing thing for me. But I really like this system. It flowed very nicely for me, probably due to my familiarity with General Desarmés and General Desarmés 2. It's got a couple different tweaks to it, making it a little bit different, making it a bit more specific to this time period. And that's not just because they use, tuckered out and whipped and catastropically all chewed up. And I'm in Kentucky. I can't even pronounce that word right, so that's probably was invented by a Kentuckian. But yeah, really liked it. There will be more of it, and but right now I'm getting back to painting Bavarians. They're all right here, and then do some cavalry, because I am stoked to get this battle going with Scott. And please continue to watch the channel, watch his channel, and you all know I love Napoleonics, and hopefully many of you do too. And we're going to get a couple good Napoleonic battles here, and it's going to be just an absolute blast. So have a great week. Hope you enjoyed this. There will be more of this rule set. This was my favorite of the 3 rule sets I've tried so far. And yeah, I wouldn't mind trying the other ones again at some point. But right now, this has kind of got me excited. I'd probably be even more excited about this if Scott wouldn't have put out that video today with the whole background on our fictional 1815 campaign. So that's really now I'm kind of like, I gotta get going. I gotta get this. We gotta start playing. So thanks a lot. You guys are great. Hope you enjoyed this, and just have a great weekend. All right, take care, guys. Bye.